Thank you. I remember getting the text that my sister Melissa had collapsed. We had no idea the severity of it, and our text kept going back and forth with my family, and we had no idea how bad it was. At the time, I was in Dallas, Texas, living my best life at the Ritz-Carlton and drinking fancy champagne, and life couldn't be better at that time. So getting this text out of nowhere that my sister had collapsed, I had no idea what was going to happen. It wasn't until her fiance, Sean, sent us all a photo of my sister in a hospital bed with tubes and wires coming out of her head and machines everywhere that I knew something grave was going to happen. The next morning, I caught the 5 a.m. flight to get to DC to see her. My parents had driven the entire night. And I remember the plane ride and crying the whole way there. I didn't have Wi-Fi, I wasn't connected. And all I remember was praying to God that nothing bad was going to happen. I had just seen her 2 weeks ago, and this was our last photo that we took together. I had an unexpected layover in DC. I had 45 minutes to kill, and now I'm so grateful that I had that. And when we were hanging out together, we went to my favorite place, Starbucks. Anyone in the audience knows I'm an addict of Starbucks. We went there, and we took a selfie, and she dropped me off at the airport in her brand new red Accord, and I gave her a hug, and I remember that hug. I remember when we hugged, she rubbed my back, and that was different. And now looking back, it's like it was a sign or something that something was going to happen. The night before this all happened, I got a text from her, and we were going back and forth about texting about me being in Dallas. I was going to buy some cowboy boots, and by the way, I missed Dallas. We lived there for so many years, and I wanted to get my family back to Dallas so bad. And my last conversation with her on text the night before was how badly I want to move back and how sad that made her for us to leave and go halfway across the country. We went through the process of getting there. I got there, and I remember riding the elevator. And at the very top of the elevator, the doors opened, and my mom and dad were standing there, and I'd never seen my dad cry before. And I'll never get that out of my head because it was so powerful for me. I've never seen him cry like that. And they pulled me aside, and they said, "We need you to go see Melissa. Let's go see her." And I said, I can't, I'm not ready. And it took me 5 separate times to get in that hospital room. And when I walked in, there were wires from her head, there were wires everywhere in her body, and her chest was going up and down, being monitored. And I took one look at her, and I said, okay, I need answers now. And I found the doctor, put him in a room, and I said, give it to me straight. What are the chances that she's gonna die? And he looked at me and he said, 90% chance. And I said, okay, the 10%, let's talk about the 10%. What does that look like? And he said, she'll never be your Melissa. She'll never be your Melissa. She was a nurse. She loved being a nurse. She worked so hard to be a nurse. And her dying wish was to be an organ donor. So we went through the process. And on September 29th, 2016, my sister was declared dead exactly 2 years ago to this day. And when she was declared dead, I remember sitting there in the room just looking at her. They had the wires going just so she could be an organ donor. And I remember getting my backpack and pulling my backpack up and opening it up and finding my laptop. And I opened my laptop and started working. I was working on a project for a very big deal at the time. And I started working, and then I would grab my cell phone and go through Instagram and Facebook and double tapping the memes that I thought were funny. And I went to a place that escaped what was actually happening. And I remember even thinking, what am I going to tell social media? What am I going to say about my sister? What picture am I going to post? How am I going to post it? What am I going to say? And I knew when I was looking at my computer screen that I had a serious problem, an addiction to technology, an addiction to social media. and I knew I had to change. Melissa Langham died on September 29, 2016 from a brain aneurysm. She died instantly, and I hope to honor her today. What I hope to cover today to inspire are three things. I want to talk about addictions, not just addictions to social media, but other addictions out there that need help. My hope is also to talk about balance incorporating into your lifestyle, your personal life and your work life, and trying to find that right balance based on what I've gone through. And finally, authenticity. I want to embrace authenticity in who we are as people and not who we are behind the screen of a phone. But before I get there, I want to take a step back to my perfect life. I was a LinkedIn celebrity star. I had it all. I had the perfect house, the nicest car, the perfect outfits. I mean, look at this. I was living a celebrity lifestyle. I thought I was a celebrity. I gallivanted all over the country, taking pictures, selfies of me constantly all day long, looking how perfect it is, the skinny angle only, by the way. And I just couldn't get better. I went to CNN, I was in a bunch of blog posts. I even wrote an article that was the number 7 most read article of 2017, and I beat Bill Gates. That was awesome. I was living this perfect life. What I found out through time was that I was addicted to social media because of the dopamine fix. And there's been a lot of research out there that shows that the more you're on Instagram and Facebook and social media, you actually get more depressed because you're looking at how perfect these people's lives are, right? And I want you to think about something right now. When you go, next time you go on Facebook, Instagram, social media, and you scroll through, how many people of those are actually friends of yours? Have you actually talked to them like in a year? 2 years? Do you just kind of go through and see how perfect their life is? They're only posting the best photos of themselves. They're posting the perfect vacation photos, the perfect selfies, the perfect haircut, their perfect children, right? That's what it is, and that's what I was doing. And over a lot of therapy, I uncovered that I had imposter syndrome, which essentially is being worried about finding out that I'm a fraud. Right, I was posting all these things like life was perfect, life was grand, when I was actually very severely insecure and depressed. Such to the point that I would overdo it and post so much. I remember in hotel rooms, I would spend that whole night going through my Snapchat to see how good my story was and how many people viewed it. And I would think about, okay, what am I going to do tomorrow to make it better? What am I going to say to get them to laugh harder? What am I going to say to make them want my perfect life? And in reality, everybody, when I was checking into those Ritz-Carlton hotels and I was drinking the fancy champagne, I was alone. I was incredibly alone. I didn't have my family. I didn't have a friend. It was just me, my phone, and the TV, and that's all I lived on. I would say that the biggest thing I learned from that is to look internally and figure out what exactly is going on and taking that next step to fix it. You know those people on Facebook that have those perfect marriages, right? They post the pictures of them anniversary gift, or they go through and post their anniversary recaps, and they go through and they have the perfect selfies. They're so happy. Oh my God, how to be so happy in a marriage, right? My marriage was actually falling apart. I was never home. I can't tell you how many things I missed from my family. My son, to this day, doesn't want me to put him to bed. He wants daddy because I wasn't there. And so he has a really good relationship with daddy, but not me. And that's something I'm still working on because it's only been 2 years. But I want him to come to me when he's hurt and not my husband. That's what I really want, and I'm working towards that. But I was never home. Our marriage was suffering. My husband was picking up all the slack that I wasn't there for. I missed so many recitals. I missed so many events. I missed everything. But guess what? I was so happy, right? I was posting on Facebook how happy my life is. I'm so talented and I'm so wonderful. When in reality, I was losing everything before it. We were this close to calling off our marriage. This close. And then my sister died, all within the span of one weekend. So I went to DC, was with my sister, went through the organ donation process by which she saved 8 people's lives. And when I got back, my husband was there for me. He was there for me as much as he could be. But I was sinking into a very deep, deep, dark depression. And it got very, very bad. These are the last 3 photos that I took before I ended my life. This was in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was at a trade show, and I was at dinner, and I was texting my husband underneath the table saying, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is it. I'm gonna kill myself. I can't go on. So I went to the 22nd floor of a Marriott hotel, to the balcony, and I called my husband, and I said, I'm so sorry, but I can't do this anymore. I can't live without my sister, my best friend. I can't live without losing our marriage, and I can't go on. I don't know what else to do. And he said, Lindsey, stay where you are. I'm getting in my car. Just give me 2.5 hours and don't hang up with me. So I went into the bathroom, and I was wearing a dress, and I was sitting on the tile floor. And I was so cold, and it was just me and my phone. And I remember looking to the bed, and next to the bed, you know how there's all those menus and pamphlets and things? Underneath that, there's a tablet of paper and a pen. And I began writing my children an apology letter for why mommy had to go and why mommy had to leave them. And I remember going through and reading it and just realizing this is not the right way. Maybe I can get help. Maybe I need help. I don't know where to go. Obviously, I'm still here. I didn't jump. But 3 days later, I was sent to a mental hospital, and I was there for a week. They handcuffed me. They took me in handcuffs, and I got there, and they took my hairbrush. They took my shoes. They took my hair ties, and oh my God, they took my phone. They took my phone. What on earth was I going to do without my phone? And it was there where I was vulnerable, and I said, I need help, and I'm going to get help. And I don't know what it's going to take, but I'm going to get that help. And so I went, and I got a psychologist, I got a psychiatrist, and I welcomed them with open arms and said, I might need meds. And they said, yes, you will likely be on meds the rest of your life to overcome what you've gone through and to be stable. I remember in the middle of the night, my roommate came to me with a CD and said, I'm going to kill you in the middle of the night. That was my experience at the mental hospital. This is a visual of how many medicines I've been on in 2017. Over 25 medications, and over 100 refills. Harris Teeter on Creedmoor Road knows who I am. I'm there constantly. And by the way, they don't have it all figured out. They're still trying and giving dosage. And by the way, medicine has side effects. I've gained weight, and there's nothing I can do about it because I'd rather be alive than not be here because I didn't take meds. But I will say I got addicted to prescription medication. 3 years ago, I complained to my doctor that I wasn't sleeping very well. And so she just gave me an Ambien subscription like it was candy and said, here you go. You'll sleep better. I said, okay, great. So I started taking Ambien, and I love the way it made me feel. If anyone's had it, you know what I'm talking about. And I would start abusing it, and I would start taking it at 7 o'clock at night just to feel the high of it. And I would start ordering things on Amazon, and boxes would show up the next day, and I'm no recollection of ordering them. So I became addicted, and that's why I was so reserved to even go get it medicine, but I need it. And I need it, and there's still not the right correlation of medicine that I need. We keep trying different things, and I might never be fixed. And who is fixed, by the way? Right? We all have challenges. And my social media addiction is much better. I have certain rules that I set aside for myself. I've even written articles that have gone viral about it, and one of them is to turn your phone off. Do you know that there's an off key on your phone? Did you know it's in the top right? You just hold it down for a couple seconds, and then it turns off. It's kind of amazing. Try it. It works. So sometimes I'll actually put my phone away, turn it off on Friday night, and open it up on Monday morning. Have I done that recently? No. Do I need to? Yes. I should start listening to my own articles. The next part is balance, and this is where I get up here and I say, I wish I could say I have it all figured out. Look at me, I'm perfect. But I don't. I don't have the perfect life balance right now. Things come and go. Work gets heavy, lose family a little bit, but it all evens out. And what I will say, one thing that affected me the greatest ever was one day my husband said, okay, kids, let's go to the park. And Natalie, my 9-year-old, looked at Daddy and said, Mommy's too busy on her phone. She can't make it to the park today. So that is what I've been struggling with, and that's what I'm working towards, on having that better work-life balance and balance within my family. And finally, I want to embrace authenticity. Don't feel like you have to post the perfect photo. Be present with your family. I will give you one assignment today, and that one assignment is go on a vacation or go to a concert and don't bring your phone. Remember that day and not the pictures you took and the videos you took of that day. I challenge you all to do that. I did that last with Disney World trip, and I didn't bring my phone for the whole day, and I remember my kids' faces better that day and what they experienced than I would remember with a picture behind my phone. I had a problem. The world didn't see it because I had a very perfect life according to them. It almost killed me, but I got help, and my hope for you is if you have suicidal thoughts or you're getting to a point where you need help and you're afraid to ask for it, use your network or use this phone number above me to get help. Thank you.